Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a fascinating and honestly kind of wild intersection of your everyday habits and cutting-edge health tech. We've got a ton of really interesting ground to cover, from some massive clinical breakthroughs and the hidden glitches in drug-predicting algorithms, all the way to some surprising new dietary science that might just change how you think about breakfast. But before we get into the heavy tech stuff, I want you to be completely honest with me. How many cups of coffee have you had today? Are we talking 0? Just 1 or 2, or are you maybe pushing past 5 and hoping I don't judge you? Well, hold on to that number in your head, because by the end of this explainer, you're going to find out exactly what a major new scientific review has to say about your daily caffeine habit and what it actually means for your heart. All right, let's jump right into section 1. AI enters your medical records. The ChatGPT health integration. So, consumer AI is officially stepping directly out of the chat box and into your personal health management. And to really understand why this is happening so fast, you just have to look at one massive number: 300 million. Over 300 million people are already asking ChatGPT health-related questions every single week. I mean, that is a staggering amount of human curiosity and concern, right? And it perfectly illustrates exactly why tech companies are rushing to meet this absolute tidal wave of demand. Because of that immense demand, OpenAI is actually rolling out a new feature right now for US users that takes all your scattered medical records and unifies them into one single conversational interface. By toggling this feature on, ChatGPT can literally connect directly to your Apple Health data and your supported medical records. We're talking access to your lab results, past medications, your sleep data, even your activity history. Imagine having an AI just calmly explain a super confusing lab number to you, or map out how a specific result has changed over the last 5 years. It can even help you prep a list of targeted questions right before you walk into a doctor's appointment. It basically takes all this crucial information that usually lives in a dozen scattered apps and puts it right at your fingertips. Which brings us to section 2, the HIPAA privacy gap, consumer apps versus clinical protection. Now, whenever we start consolidating our most sensitive personal information into a single commercial platform, we really have to weigh the awesome promise of that convenience against the real peril of data privacy. Think about it. Traditional healthcare, your doctors, hospitals, insurers, they are all legally bound by the strict privacy laws of HIPAA. But consumer AI apps, they operate in a completely different reality. Health information stored in a commercial AI service often just doesn't get those exact same rock-solid legal safeguards. To be fair, the tech companies are highly aware of this concern. OpenAI explicitly states that these connected records are encrypted, they absolutely aren't used to train their models or target ads, and crucially, you can disconnect them at any time. But the bottom line here? You have got to completely understand your privacy settings before you connect anything sensitive to an AI app. Ultimately, you are the gatekeeper of your own digital health footprint. Let's shift gears a bit. Section 3, breakthroughs in the clinic, AI powering real medicine. Stepping away from the consumer apps on our phones and looking into the highly regulated environment of actual clinical medical practice, artificial intelligence is making some truly undeniable breakthroughs. For instance, DeepHealth just scored FDA clearance for an AI system designed to help read breast ultrasounds. And to be clear, this isn't about replacing human doctors. It's about detecting areas of concern, accurately describing them, and instantly generating reports. The whole goal is to improve consistency and just help human radiologists work much more efficiently. It's basically acting like a highly advanced, tireless second set of eyes. In another absolutely massive win for clinical AI, major tech companies are literally funding the future of rare disease treatment. Anthropic just launched a program to support scientists and early-stage biotech teams who are digging into rare genetic diseases. Selected teams can receive up to $50,000 in Claude credits. That is a real game changer. These credits let researchers use the AI to chew through massive data sets, pinpoint underlying biological mechanisms, and directly accelerate early drug development. And the best part? The outputs from the basic science track of this program are going to be shared publicly, which speeds up research all over the globe. But it's not all perfect. Section 4, when AI gets it wrong, the limits of protein prediction. Before we go crowning AI as the ultimate infallible superdoctor, we have to talk about its blind spots. Take protein predicting AI, for example. These are sophisticated artificial intelligence models that scientists use to map out the physical, 3D structures of proteins. This kind of mapping is supposed to drastically accelerate drug research because it shows us exactly how biological molecules fit together, kind of like a microscopic puzzle. However, researchers just stumbled onto a pretty major glitch when they pushed these models to their absolute limits. What they found was that while AI predictions are incredibly, mind-blowingly fast, they sometimes spit out structures that are physically implausible. This happens a lot when engineered sequences include charged residues in really unusual spots. Think of the AI like a brilliant, visionary architect who designs a breathtakingly creative house, but completely forgets that gravity exists on the inside. Because of this, scientists realized they absolutely still have to rely on slower, traditional physics-based simulations to validate these AI predictions before they spend millions on real-world experiments. AI gives us the speed, sure, but physics gives us the reality check. All right, let's step away from the code for a minute. Section 5, Beyond AI, the truth about protein in coffee. Let's look at our own daily habits. We've all heard the old wisdom, right? More protein is always better. It builds muscle, keeps you lean, the whole shebang. Well, a major new scientific review analyzing decades of studies just found a really surprising link. It turns out eating less protein, and specifically restricting a few building blocks like the amino acids methionine and isoleucine, was actually linked to better metabolic health and significantly longer lives in animals. So yeah, that old more is always better mantra, it might just be a bit oversold. Actually, scratch that. There's a huge caveat here we have to talk about. The strongest evidence for this longevity boost is currently found in mice and flies, not humans. And beyond that, cutting protein is definitely not for everyone. If you're an older adult at risk of muscle loss, if you're pregnant, a growing kid, or someone recovering from an illness, you generally need way more protein, not less. So please, whatever you do, don't just dump your expensive protein powder in the trash today based on a study about fruit flies. And finally, returning to that question I asked you at the very beginning about your coffee intake, a brand new review from the American Heart Association just evaluated caffeine consumption, and they actually nailed down a magic number for most healthy adults. That number is 400 milligrams. Consuming up to 400 milligrams of caffeine daily, which shakes out to roughly 3 to 5 standard 8-ounce cups of coffee, is generally totally safe for your heart. In fact, the review suggests it might even be helpful. But, and this is a big but, this safety limit comes with a massive warning label. This rule applies to standard, regular brewed coffee. It absolutely does not apply to those massive, neon-colored, highly caffeinated energy drinks or those little concentrated shots you grab at the gas station. Those things pack much larger caffeine doses and a bunch of additional ingredients that can drastically spike your blood pressure or even trigger abnormal heart rhythms. So keep it to the traditional brew and your heart will likely thank you. Well, we have covered a massive amount of ground today. Between the incredible, almost sci-fi promise of unified AI health records, the stark reality of algorithmic glitches in protein mapping, and the constantly shifting sands of dietary science around protein and caffeine, I want to leave you with one final thought to ponder. As these tools evolve at breakneck speed and the science constantly updates, the ultimate responsibility really falls right back on us. So, are you ready to take control of your data, verify your AI's advice, and truly be the ultimate validator of your own health? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and as always, keep asking the right questions.